So calculating your net worth is like going to a doctor's office to get your annual health checkup, but you're doing your annual financial checkup. Just for the private course members, you're going to be able to download the latest and greatest net worth calculator in the private community. So let me show you this here. And calculating your net worth is easy, but complicated at the same time. You have to first assess where you are with your finances. Do you have more assets or liabilities? Do you have too much cash and not enough retirement? Or do you have too much real estate and not enough taxable investments? The top of the spreadsheet is where you want to enter the date here. Okay, so that will be today's date on the date that you do your net worth statement for accuracy. And you don't need to do another one for another year, but it's up to you if you want to do it every month or every quarter. It's typically done annually. In the first block, it's where it says mortgage right here, right? And that's where you put your current mortgage balance. And if you don't own a home, then you just put 0 right there. And if you have any other debt, this is where you enter all of your debt under liabilities. And you can select from investment mortgage, HELOC, student loan, personal loan, or car loan. When you enter the amount here, just make sure to put the negative value in the cell. So if you owe $200,000 on your mortgage, then put negative $200,000 in the cell. And then down here is where you put all of your assets from cash, retirement, taxable investments, vehicles, and real estate. Under the asset type, these selections are coming directly under here. Okay, so you can make changes to the asset types if you want to. If you don't have kids, then just delete kids down here. And you can always add more if you want to. And you would put the dollars in these cells in positive value. So if you have, say, $5,000 in primary checking account, then you just put $5,000 here in positive value. And these are just all examples. And at the bottom of the spreadsheet here is where you have the asset allocation. And in this scenario, you have 11% cash, 25% taxable investments, and 35% retirement, and 25% in real estate. And this is going to give you a better idea of how much of your assets are allocated. Are you too heavy in real estate? Or are you too heavy in cash? Maybe you don't have enough saved in your retirement. This spreadsheet can help you or give you a proper diagnosis of where you are with your financial health. And if you need more rows, just you can just unhide them on the left-hand side here of the spreadsheet, okay? And then the next time you do your financial health checkup, whether that's a year from now or a quarter from now, you're gonna put the date at the top. And you can always set a reminder on your phone so that you don't forget about it. But if you put negative $190,000 a year from now, the spreadsheet will automatically calculate that you have $10,000 in year-over-year changes. It will be a 5% decrease in liabilities. Pretty neat, right? And you can do the same thing with your assets here. So if your Roth IRA balance is now $25,000, then you have a $10,000 increase or a 40% increase year over year. But what if your Roth IRA balance decreased to, let's say, $14,000 here, right? Then you have a $1,000 decrease or a 7% decrease year over year. And you can see a decrease in balances, especially during a bear market. But if you type in $190,000 for the mortgage right here, you're going to see the decrease in liabilities. And then when you look at Roth IRA, you have a $10,000 increase. That's going to be a 40% increase year over year. And if you had a, let's say, a decrease in value because of the bear market, and now you'll see that 7.1% decrease year over year. And at the bottom of the net worth here, and it'll tell you what changed from a year ago or from the last year you made your net worth statement. And at the top of the net worth statement, you're going to see your total net worth and how much of it has increased or decreased year over year. Okay, so you see that right here. This is going to be $413,000 and then $9,000 in net worth changes. Okay, so if you can see that clearly, I'll make sure to drop this file in the private community, and then you can go ahead and download it from there for the course members. By the way, I am so fired up to announce the launch of my private FIRE community for people just like you and me who are passionate about investing, saving, and achieving financial independence and exploring different possibilities to retire early. My private community will allow you to connect with me on the platform and get in touch with other like-minded individuals or couples who are just as serious as you are with the FIRE movement. As a member of my private community, you'll get resources like investing, saving, paying off debt, or finding the right place to grow your money. for a very limited time. Please enjoy the free trial by clicking the link in the description below. Anyway, so why is this important? Knowing your current net worth will give you a better idea of the direction you need to take going forward. Maybe you need to work on boosting your cash reserve or paying off your high interest debt. You can't possibly increase your savings rate until you eliminate your debt. And if you have a debt that charges you 5% or higher, you need to consider that a high interest debt, because you're not going to be making any progress by investing extra money you get from your income. And that's the exception is your mortgage. Being debt free, except for your mortgage, is the fastest way to grow your assets. And your savings rate is always going to matter more than the stock market return. You can control your savings rate, but you can't control how the stock market performs, right? The next one I want to show you here. This is a very simple where you can measure your savings rate. And your savings rate, again, absolutely matters more than the investment returns. It's not about getting that 8%, 9%, or 10% return on investments. It's about increasing your savings rate to the maximum so that you can achieve financial independence and retire early. At the bare minimum, you want to invest up to the employer match if you're still in debt. When you're out of debt and have some cash reserve set aside, then you want to go absolutely ham on your savings. It's not about saving 25% of your income towards retirement anymore. It's about maxing out your retirement vehicle up to the IRS limit. I don't even ask what the percentage is because I care more about what I can do now to max out every retirement account every year until my early retirement. And if you're not in a position to max out your retirement investments, then you need to prioritize paying off your debt or increasing your income. So if you have any profit sharing plan or some type of employer match, then you want to at least contribute that to the minimum, right? And if your employer contributes 5%, if you as an employee contributes 5%, then 5% should be the minimum you contribute to your 401k or 401k type plan, like 403b, TSP, or something else. And if you're a self-employed individual with no employees, you can contribute to a solo 401k as an employee and an employer. And then after the employer match, the next one I prioritize is the HSA or health savings account. And this account requires you to have a high deductible health plan. I will talk about the eligibility later on. And I treat my HSA like a separate retirement account because I can contribute to the HSA in pre-tax dollars, invest that money into an index fund, and then take the money out tax-free if they're for qualified medical expenses. And after I turn 65, I can use the HSA money to pay for any expenses. It's almost like a combination of a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA, right? And speaking of a Roth IRA, I will never miss out on a Roth IRA contributions ever again. And I used to miss them out, but I'm not going to do that ever again. And that's during my FIRE journey. And I can use my Roth IRA contributions in my early retirement instead of waiting all the way until I'm 59 and a half. And you can see that the Roth IRA and HSA combined will only be about 9% of your total income if you make over $125,000 a year in salary. And I get that not everyone is making $125,000 right now, but if you're starting with $70,000, let's say, then you can start with HSA and Roth IRA and with the 401k up to the employer match. If you can't max out your HSA, then try maxing out your Roth IRA. Then the next one is maxing out your 401k. Just by maxing out your 401k, that's about 18% of your gross income at $125,000. Again, this is assuming that you're debt-free except for your mortgage. So once you're done with your HSA, Roth IRA, and 401k, then you'll need to figure out how much of your income can go into the index funds inside your taxable brokerage account, right? Could you start with 10% of your income? And what if you increase it to 15%? And if you take a look at the bottom of the calculations here, as a single person, you could save up to 30% of your gross income towards your HSA, IRA, and 401k, making $125,000 a year. And if you contribute an additional 10% to your taxable brokerage account, then that's going to put you at 40%. Could you save 50% of your income? You have to be the one to make those calculations based on your current expenses. Make sure to have some fund money set aside so that you can have that balance between FIRE and living in the moment now. And I purposely left out the spouse's savings rate until now because I wanted to show you what your savings rate would be like just based on one person's income. So if your spouse is also making money, and let's say about $100,000 a year, the total savings rate would be reduced to 18% with just the first spouse's HSA, Roth IRA, and 401k, right? So what if I start adding an employer match here at 5% and another, say, HSA at 4150, and let's put another Roth IRA at $7,000. That's going to be another 25% of the total gross income between both spouses. And if the spouse also maxes out their 401k, that's a total of 35% savings rate between both spouses. How incredible is it to save almost $80,000 a year just in retirement, right? And saving an additional 15% or $33,000 a year to the taxable brokerage account would put you at a 50% savings rate. Could you save more? Absolutely. But it's going to depend on the total household expenses. If you're in a position where you and your spouse both work, you have the best opportunity to save and invest 40, 50, or maybe even 60% of your total combined income. Some people invest 50% of their income for a few years and then reduce the savings rate, because once they reach that number, whatever that number might be, they can coast into their retirement. This is also known as coast fire, but I'll talk about that in the next live stream. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't done that already.